have.
Yeah, and I think the Death touched on it perfectly as well. The defensive sides for both of these teams going into this game are the strong suit, and you see those setups that I'm talking about with Xander bringing them in, the coaching staff on V1 as well, really put in some work. So they're starting off on the defense. That could be where the momentum starts. For Knights, it's really going to be how they actually pressure some of the utility in middle. That version 1 is playing off so well, and already you're seeing some of that setup going off with the Killjoy turret and playing off of sound, breaking the turret, and then instantly grab well with shock darts.
Yeah, they've managed to keep him at bay for now. And you see, this is interesting too out of version 1 defensively. You've got the alarm bot mid from Whippy, which is pretty common to hold that. But then you also have Penny kind of stacking up on that to play off of the alarm bot if and when it does go off.
Still no presence up in mid. When that does pop, if they're executing through it, it'll be fine. But if they decide to slow down, it is going to be a split through middle with the wall as well. Right away, V1's going to have to defend. They're falling back to site.
They are. How much can they hold back? Knight's starting to flood onto the site. You've got a couple members from version 1, as you said, anchored onto the site. Whipp's one of them, and he's the first to fall. As Pittsburgh Knights just kind of mow over version 1. Xander's the only one that's left, and
30 seconds left.
all of this round's a wrap.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a pop flash in from from Spawn from Zelstis. He got cleaned up at the same time as Penny, and Knights was all over that push in from the other side. This was clean from Knights, and right off the bat, pushing through that mid split.
Well, yeah, and break that down for me a bit more, Paulo. What was it that worked so well for the Knights there? Because that looked effortless.
I think the big part there was the nanostorms. They delayed right off the top of that, right? They both popped, they both stopped on both the market side and the B main side. So having that patience to wait for a second and then group up, push lane, push theirs at the same time, really worked out now.
Yeah, Prime Gaming flawless to kick things off for Pittsburgh Knights. They come in at a 20-0 or 21-0, depending on when you're looking at it on the calendar. But the fact's the same, right? Like, they're damn good on this map. That first round to start certainly reinforces that idea.
Already, Doug, they're going up to some cheeky things all the way back. You have sight on B, 2 shorties. And then you also have to pay attention to Zels's position. He's giving up mid entirely. They're playing a lot of different trap plays inside of the positions that they might push in, and they're heading right into this B site. So they got Penny and Effie's easy 2 kills potentially for V1. No.
Oh man, surely you get some value out of this, right? Maybe, oh, the flash, the swing, oh, Penny gets it anyway. Effie's does as well. They've gotten value out of the shorties, but how much more can they get? Scuba, Ziff, the only 2 that remain. The spike is on the site, but Ziff's on an island. He doesn't have any help. He's being surrounded right now. He falls, the spike does as well. Scuba's off site. He's got a Spectre, but version 1 have already upgraded 2 weapons.
Yeah, they've got both guns now, and they're all trade. Look at them, 4 of them looking straight down. They have the turret covering the lane and the stairs as well. Well played, and way to flip the script. Right on the back of sight, the smoke to come in as well from Xander to help them out. Penny's also throwing his cloudburst. That was clean, and these are the types of things that we're talking about from the start that Knights is going to have to deal with. Still, very focused attention for Knights over towards this B side. That's twice now that they go for it, and fast too. That's something that we're going to have to pay attention to and keep a dial on. With that being said, they will have to eco a little bit as well with the money situation as it is. See it again. Zelsis also threw a pop flash there at the same time on the site. It didn't actually catch anybody, but these are the types of things that are really, really clean from version 1. Zelsis is always there to assist.
And now, ball off of the round that version 1 just put together. Now it's Knights who are on pistols, and they have 4 sheriffs. You've got Ziff with the light armor as well and full utility, but you feel the impact from a financial perspective when you win a round and then lose the next one.
This A main fight can happen over and over and over as well. Penny, right off the bat, paired with a 0 point from Zelsis, they get the information that they're playing far back. And he's going to creep up on a nice off angle. He could dash out of that if he needs to, but he saves the dash importantly as well. Effie's, though, is on an island.
Spike has made its way up. You're right. Effie's doesn't have a ton of help. He's got a shock dart at his feet. A little bit of fancy footwork to stay alive. The dash around. Ziff follows up on the swing, but he's getting dropped. The flashes are there. Version 1 has arrived. And the sheriffs, while they look good at the beginning, they just haven't really been able to put up much of a fight here in this round.
0.2 clears out where Frosty is. Almost no chance. And another Prime Gaming flawless, the second of the game. It's V1 to take a very fast response against Knight's fantastic pistol.
And now we're going to get to see things from a gun perspective on a bit more of even footing, right? This should be version 1 still rocking out on those Spectres that they had, but now Knights are should have full rifles to work with and full utility to work with as well. So we saw a very quick early hit in the first round and how that kind of caught version 1 off guard. Perhaps we'll see something more of an aggressive dial up here, but off of first impressions on how they're set up, it looks like that's not the case. They're going to play this one a bit more slowly.
Back to default. Look how V1 is completely nullifying the A main presence. They're trying to gravel them off, but they have to play so far back with the knife potentially coming in at any second there. He actually delays it for a second to make it think that Zelsis is not playing there, to make it think like you're not going to be able to cancel out the abilities and get the information, but you always have to be aware. Go for a drone up towards mid. Also note, with the way that Knights played on that pistol round, the alarm bot's not there in mid anymore.
Right.
So he's paid everything over towards the B main area. And that's exactly the type of adjustments I want to see right off the bat, looking at what the game plan is for Knights. That's twice they went towards B. Let's maybe hedge our bets a little bit towards that side.
Yeah, but with that, you see Knights, they're trying a slightly different flavor as well, as they've turned their attention towards A. You've got two members from version 1 close by A, and you've also got Zelsis making his way around. We'll see if he catches something. The wall goes up. That should be the cue. The cloudburst comes out as well as Band dashes onto the site. Penny's the first to fall, but Zelsis and Xander are able to get a couple of kills of their own. The spike doesn't make it very far onto the site at all, but Knights are still at a spot here where they can reset, where they can take a different approach at this thing.
Yeah, 3v3, but one thing, that wall's still up. He hasn't really broken it. And they're going to have to break it eventually, or they're going to go all heaven. But without that wall being broken, the only thing that they have to worry about is really an A main flank. And actually, Scuba just cleared that out. So they kind of know what's coming. Finally, you have that wall broken down by Effie's, and the split is now possible.
Yeah, the door just went out as well. Again, threatening that, or reinforcing the possibility of that threat even more. The spike continuing to tick away. The knife comes out. Whippy with the swing. The Spectre from that far just obliterates Scuba. In version 1, just like that. Man, they just took the site right back. What was that?
Yeah. Catching the positioning out from Knights, for sure. A little bit awkward, though, because Scuba was all the way back, shoulder peeking A main, and he was nowhere near, and also didn't really have, outside of that one gravel that you saw placed on top of heaven, but a little delayed. He didn't have the stars to really support. So instantly he goes down, and then they're jumping at the same time as you actually have Effie's coming through the doorway too.
The buy for the Knights here, spotty. At best, you've got 3 pistols, a Spectre. Yeah, spotty might be a kind way of putting it. But take a look at this, though. Gangsta has his Hunter's Fury. Scuba and Band both just a couple of points away from having theirs online. We'll see if they choose to use that this round as they're leaning towards B. And Bala, there is a ton of KJ util here to boot.
And you can already tell that V1 kind of knows and is feeling that potentially they might go over towards B. Already getting a star from Xander. But they've also got so much control A main. They really know what's going on. This allows Zelsis to cheat towards mid, allows Effie's actually to swing over towards B if necessary. You can see him sliding away from that drone just for a second. I like this though from Knights. They're exploring, but if they continue with this, I think that V1 really knows what's going on right now with the way that Zelsis is moving.
Well, I mean, they may know, but can they hold, right? Even if they know what's coming, can they do anything about it? The knife was great! The knife stopped Band dead in his tracks. Effie's is able to drop him as well. We talked about the gun difference going into this round, and you really see that on full display as now Scuba and Frosty, I mean, Scuba was able to upgrade, and Frosty does as well, but Frosty's health is so low right now, you don't even see it.
Oh, the spam so close. They're both gonna walk lane, and that's where they are too.
Oh, if they catch the timing just right, it's 1v1. Penny swings out. Penny takes care of both, and Penny saves the round for version 1. He's going to get the defuse as well as V1 get to 4.
Wow. Once again, the same idea. This is the problem that I was seeing when I was watching Knights on Ascent. Yes, big win streak for sure, but a lot of times they're falling back to what Josh was saying on the desk, what Sideshow was saying, where the depth on their attack side is maybe not the play that, like the amount of walls that Ziff has, for example. He's doing the really old standard stuff. You can't get much more creative with the Sage, and sure, that can be useful. But at the same time, too, everybody has played against that. They just have to go back to the vaults, you know, strategies and anti-strats.
See that early knife out from Zelsis. You called a couple of rounds ago. I was a bit delayed. This time it drops fast. Gangsters on his Fury looking to get a tag. Managed to get one. That's all he's going to get. A little bit of info gathered, a little bit of damage dealt onto Xander, but that's it for now.
Yeah, I mean, but it actually forced him into a much more passive position. And for the first time, Knights actually has aim in. So this is looking pretty good for them. I like that idea. A really random dart to get a Hunter's Fury potential kill. Xander now has to play from heaven. Remember, every single other time they've actually played him very close to aim, but this time too they have Killjoy. Whippy playing with all of his utility on this side. He has a death trap set inside of Tree Room. But once again, they're favoring this, and he's got the angle though here, and that might be where they're walking.
The blade storm in his back pocket as well. You see the knife? That's gonna grab some. Oh, okay. So you got something. You got a little bit of info. Oh, Frosty. You can tell he's tempted. He wanted to. Lockdown's gonna come out as well. A flash. They throw the brakes on.
30 seconds left.
I really like the way that the ball is used here. Potentially the fake A, but they don't make any noise, and Van just walks out with it. Gets a lot of space in the front where he can actually plant, and this is the death trap. Frosty's gonna get out. He's gonna fight Whippy here, and he's gone.
Oh, you called it the death trap. Whippy gets two off of the utility with his weapon, and it looked like he wasn't even going to get a chance to show that, but they rotate back right into the clutches of Versions 1 defenses. With that, though, they managed to get it to a 3v2. Knights get the spike down. It's ticking away. Penny dashing around, trying to stay alive, trying to find some angles to work with, and Gangsta drops him. A 2v2 is all that remains. Scuba laying down in hell. It's Gangsta with no armor, trying to find round alive. The clock's ticking though. V1's gonna have to go. Xander on the drop. The gun gives him away. A 1v1. Zelsis with 26 armor swings around, but Scuba gives him the business. A 3K and the round win for the Knights.
Good idea from V1 in that 2 versus 2 to make noise, shoot the guns as they drop down and try to hide Zelsis falling, but he wasn't able to find anything actually, as they were hiding in Gen and Dark. And then the nice swing from Scuba as well. I'm very surprised with how that went in towards the end. But Knights got through the death trap with very minimal time. Actually decided to cancel that B main hit. That's a very good calling on the fly. So props to Frosty there.
Well, and the thing is, like we touched on, that could have been disastrous, right? Like between the Killjoy utility, between them playing on site, like it worked out. Obviously, it went their way. They managed to get the round win off of that 1v1, but it took some heroics. And we've talked about the depth to this Knights roster on Ascent. They look good, right? Statistically, they're there, 21-0 record, what have you, but how deep is the playbook? Here we're seeing a slightly different look. Speaking of depth in playbook, Frosty with the lockdown mid.
Yeah, but this lockdown is supposed to get you control of Tree. And that's what it's going to get, actually, as Penny has to fall off. They're going to push all the way through. Xander's got himself a nice transition. So to play this for a long time.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Xander, one drops. How much more can he get? Not able to get the second. His band takes care of him. Scuba's starting to work his way onto the site as Ziff gets the spike down, and Scuba's going hunting. He gets the wall up. He wants to fight. Oh, he's expecting the ult. Can they protect it? Whippy, good for one. Zelsis takes care of another one as well. And for now, it's going to stay alive, but they've got to push it, and they push it right into Zelsis. Zelsis gets 3, and they're going to get the defuse. Oh, baby.
That's such a good idea, though, for Knights. They know the ult is about to come out. They already have Frosty set up on Cat, but it just doesn't work out because Zelsis is the brick wall in front of the Killjoy ults with this no command 2 firing off. 5-2, and Knights, good ideas, but just not quite there with the execution.
Dude, Zelsis just goes ballistic here. Right, like, and you touched on it. He was the brick wall to that lockdown. He drops, the lockdown goes out, the threat of that's no longer there, and they can reassess control of the site. Knights had the playbook, like you said, they had what they wanted to do. It looked good, they just weren't able to execute. Now they're back on pistol.
versus Xander, Judge.
Judge
Gets the
versus
bulldog.
Bulldog,
That
of
is
course.
cheeky. Look at the damage already done too with Frosty and Ziff. Just one shock dart right at the beginning of the round from Effie's.
Oh gosh. How does he not see him? Show me the POV. Show me the POV. I want to see what he sees. Oh my goodness. Surely.
They're not checking
no.
to see their knife out.
Oh, he's out. Oh my gosh, he wasn't able to land it with the judge. It was there. It was set up. The kill would have been perfect. But Ban dashes away just in the nick of time to avoid what would have been hilarity.
It's interesting. Xander didn't actually get that much information. Then Zelsis with the follow-up doesn't find much more besides Ban, and he's got the info here. He's inside of the site of what Zelsis is doing here with the flash, but it doesn't stay alive. That's what I was hoping he was going to be able to get out of that. Now it's just Whippy and Effie's, and
30 seconds left.
no ults this time.
Oh, the Hunter's Fury's already gone. The wall, the turret, the door, all sorts of nonsense happening by Switch. As it gets cleared out, we'll see. I mean, do version 1 even try this, Bala? They don't have a ton of time. You don't have
It's
any
just
ults,
pistols
like
on
you
the other
said.
side. Like,
Yeah.
what's the point? The chance, but with already door 100% covered, they know that. The wall. There's not really many openings.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Penny, because Penny, in my opinion, throughout all of last year, really, he's like this young star, he's cracked out kid who, when he's on as the Jet, he's nuts, right? Like, he can go toe to toe with anyone. But when he's not on, when he's just on like a 80%, 70%, if you will, it doesn't nearly have the same impact. And I know it's early, but I feel like we're seeing some of the earlier Penny where he's not just like fully going nuts and getting all these crazy kills. We've seen him lose a couple of trades early on.
I mean, that definitely has an impact. Well, he's now 5-4, and he's got the op online. And playing over towards the mid, switching with Zelsis essentially, previously paired up with Xander. We'll see. I mean, it's only 8 rounds in, definitely deep into the first half, but there's plenty of time for him to get active. And I actually think that his attack side has been the most impressive throughout the open qualifiers so far. So, meanwhile, Zelsis and Xander, who are really showing up to me on the defensive sides for V1, even though those are the stronger sides. Like that, the recall for him to take a deeper angle. Just for a second there from Penny. Very nice. That's how you're going to start to set this guy up. And really get him fragging. There you go.
Talked about it with version 1. Almost seems like they need to have Penny on one for them to really thrive and be the version 1 that looks so good throughout the qualifier. As you said, that's a big step. They need to get him a couple of those kills. They need to get the ball rolling for him. That's an excellent start. Now, Knights, with that res, bring Scuba it was back online. What do they do with it? The Cosmic Divide comes out to cut off Defender spawn, and it looks like they want to go towards B, but there's KJ Util, and there are 2 people backside. Zelsis just on the other side of the wall as well.
Hot flash. Actually, KO nade.
Oh, that hurts.
Mistimes that though, so they get through. But the flash is so good from Zelsis for limited peak. And Ban almost low HP as well, but they get the other player backside.
That 10 HP just wasn't enough. The shock dart in his face, but Zelsis, what can you do? You've got Penny with the op as well. We've called his name a couple of times. Has a chance at heroics.
He's got an Astral Wall himself.
But they're so close, Zelsis. That's big.
They could Astral Wall backside.
There it is. Knife. Penny lands a shot. A 1v3 with no health left. Zelsis gets 3 there. Version 1 are going to get to 6, and we touched on a couple of things here, right? Penny gets a couple of really big kills with the op. We're seeing him warm up. Zelsis, you mentioned in this previous round as well. Man, he's delivering in a big way for V1.
Yeah, I mean, that flash is everything right there for Whippy to get at least 1 kill on the back of sight right there. And then also, because of how much pressure and how long they're staying alive backside, he's able to easily go out by himself through that Astral Wall and control the switch side of the site. And that makes it so easy for V1 to walk out, makes it so easy for Xander to actually get some utility out without worrying about the spam or anything like that, because they just have free control.
And you're right, and I thought that there could have at least been a bit, not to cut off the push in from Knights with the nade, but I thought maybe he had gotten a bit of damage, but I think you're right. It was just late enough to where it didn't even land a tick of damage, but the flash was everything, as you said, to delay, to allow version 1 to get in a more comfortable spot, and then Zelsis just kind of come up from behind and really just destroy him. Knights calling a timeout here. They're down 3 rounds in a map that, again, on the calendar, they're undefeated on. They're down. It's not a big way. It's still early, but it's a significant deficit here.
Yeah, I mean, an 8-4 half wouldn't be the worst thing ever. I mean, we keep saying, their defensive side is definitely the best, but I'd definitely be wanting to shoot for a 7-5 at the very least if I'm Knights, and that would be a great success from what I've seen with their attacking sides and what we're seeing right now as well. Not much of the type of map control stuff where you're really taking mid and making V1 guess a lot. You're really just relying on brute force, good executes, and decent fundamentals, the way you're pathing through the sites and trading the kills. It's been pretty good for Knights for sure, and that's why you see them 3 rounds up, but in terms of everything else, not quite.
Oh, interesting buy here out for Knights. You've got Zelsis with the holy smokes, that info. Everyone was lit up. They're gonna try to go onto the site anyway, and it's a freaking meat grinder. They walk into the gravity well. Whippy gets 3 off of that, and all that's left is the Vandal in the hands of Ziff and Gangsta as well. He's got the Hunter's Fury, but he's really in no position to do anything with it. The spike isn't even, it's just out of arm's length as well.
It's in front of the smoke, yeah. Thrown in as well, almost tags Gangsta. Knife will get him for sure. No chance here, and I mean you're really seeing the type of meta differential right now. The Astra grab, well, you got the Killjoy mollies, but then you also have the fragment, and also the 2 darts from both Sova and Zelsis in this round, getting so much value.
30 seconds left.
Now, Bala, he did get the spike. If they think he wrote, okay, well, never mind.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Was that a triple swing? Oh, okay.
Right, good luck with that one. All right, so we take a look, turn our attention to the next round. We talked about the ultimate from Zelsis that's still online. Gangsta still has his Hunter's Fury, and this should be a position where Knights can fight back at a bit more more fair footing, right? Like they have rifles, just 2 on light armor, but this should be a much stronger round for them. But the ultimates that V1 have on their side, they're not insignificant, Bala.
It is also, though, a must-win for Knights here. I mean, economy-wise. They're deep in the dumps. Some of them even have light armor in this case. And going to the next, if they lose this, that's going to be really rough for them to try to... I mean, yeah, it's going to be 9-3. Once again, here's what I'm talking about. Not really clearing in towards mid, really not even really poking besides the drone in towards bottom mid. And they will walk cat. This is actually to clear potentially some Killjoy utility. All right, trying to break the turret, trying to break alarm bot, anything in tree. But it's actually a door setup for Whippy, so they don't get that much value out of it besides pulling Zelsis over towards the other side of the map. And that might make the difference.
I wonder how yeah, it looks like they're staying very patient, very disciplined. You just saw Effie's use drone to get into B main and didn't see very much at all.
One of the problems here, Scuba's waiting right now. They're waiting for the Astral Recalls to come back up. He only has 2 stars, and he doesn't have anything to clear out Penny. So he's here with his top completely uncontested, but they force him off, and they've got the Hunter's Fury. Effie's by himself now.
Oh, they've got Effie's, they've got Zelsis, but Zelsis falls. The ult came online. Still gonna hang around. Effie's drops as well. Ziv's gone huge here for the Knights as he's able to get 2. The spike is gonna get planted. See what the remaining members of version 1 can do here in this 3v3. Whippy has the lockdown. If they can funnel him in, and that's why you see Scuba playing off. He's still in market to ensure that they don't get trapped by that ultimate. The wall's gonna go up as well. This looks tough for V1, Bala.
Yeah, 100%. Xander tries to put something to actually force him off of lane, but Killjoy's even not going to get placed. So Xander left in a 1 versus 3. Possible, but very difficult.
I mean, yeah, okay. And that's what we highlighted, right? Like the fact that Scuba, that's a pretty common Killjoy lockdown setup. If you know that they're in post plants on B back by Boathouse, you drop the lockdown and they're just trapped, right? They have nowhere to go. The only option they have is to fight out of it. But if you've got someone playing in market and they don't know about it, it counters that, and that's exactly what Scuba did there. And
that's twice now that we actually see them playing reactively off of the Killjoy ult possibility from V1. Celsius, you actually see the very, very impactful moment there where they pressured up Cat. He gets pulled over towards A. He's not there to actually use his null command in response to the Hunter's Fury, and Ganks is playing far back enough that he really has to go deep to even cancel that. So the one thing that they needed to do was push Penny off that angle, and they did it with the Hunter's Fury and got him down, even off the back side. So once again, that's another thing that Knights is doing very well. Ganks is staying far back from that and pulling him over. Well done. Exactly the type of stuff that I was talking about they needed to do to recover a little bit in this game.
And you mentioned 7-5, even 8-4, you said was fine, right? Like that's certainly at a place where knowing what they can do on the defensive half, it's still well within reach, and they seem to be on forecast to hit that at least for now. And I mean, really, again, if you're Knights, it's kind of everything you could possibly ask for. Penny with the op again, 2 points away from the Blade Storm. No op on the side of the Knights here.
Yeah, not necessarily the money for it, but also not something that they've been really relying on too much. Big presence here again on A main. Scuba last time had that standoff, but his teammates came just in time, and Ben is here. Sometimes that knife gives you false information in this situation that there's only one player close, and when you do end up pushing up, Xander's aware.
Penny, what do you got? Spots a kneecap.
Just spotted him. Yeah, but Ben saw him too, so...
Nice, that's so big.
Dude, look how Penny is literally not changing his crosshair placement there at all. You would think, as they realize there's a player up top, he's like, no, Xander's got me now. you know?
Well, and that's the layers, right? Like, we knew a couple of rounds ago, like you said, Scuba was up there. He's able to get the kill that he should have been able to get off of that standoff. But there's a layer to the second layer to that as well. Effie's anchoring back B by himself so far, and that really seems to be all version 1 need. Libby's close by, just in the nick of time, but he falls as well. Ziff's in this 1v3, he's flashed up. He's got
res?
Yeah. It looked like that hit him in the face and bounced off of him.
30 seconds left.
He's got the heal. He's got the spike as well.
Yeah, he can't use the res though anymore now that he's committed to sight. And Penny's taking so much space on him. He's gonna try to go for it, but Penny's here. Yeah.
That is tough. That is tough.
The problem here is that we haven't necessarily seen Knights go up against a team of caliber of version 1 on their attack sides, right? So, and it's a new kind of meta way that V1's playing, aggressive on B right away.
Aggressive indeed. The dart, the flash, the everything. They funnel onto the site. Frosty gets dinked. He has to back up, and there's really nowhere that's safe as he tries to wrap around towards some sort of solace, and he gets taken out as well. Zelsis gets the spike down. Boy, that was fast. You blink and you miss it.
Is this Freaky Friday, man? I feel like I'm watching the same pistol for the first half. I mean, obviously that was a B split through mid as well, but dang, they just destroyed that back line of sight. And now they're clearing back through B main, but V1's really not playing anything over towards this side, so they're spending a lot of time that they don't even need to spend.
Well, the thing is, they're so far up, they have to, right? Like, you can't afford to play that any aggressively, because you don't have any idea where they are. Zelsis clotheslines, man. Scuba, ooh, baby. Version 1, get the pistol in the second half, and that's a big one, Balla.
Yeah, that hurts. That really hurts. Potentially going up 10-4. We saw V1 have the thrifty round against Knights in the first half, so we'll have to see if Knights can pull something out like that. Similarly, we have Frosty behind a shorty, so who knows? Freakiest of Fridays may continue, but I doubt it.
Yeah, what year did Freaky Friday come out in, Balla?
We don't need to talk about it. Probably like... Well, there's 2 versions, right?
We're digging deep.
And the problem is that I'm not even helping myself because there's 2 versions. I was going to say one has Lindsay Lohan. And yeah, we'll just end that there.
Oh, man. Knights with pistols and the shorty, as you mentioned, in the hands of Frosty. You can tell V1, like, they're not leaving anything to chance, just in case Knights dial up something a little spicy and they try to go right at version 1. They're playing back. They haven't given up really any info up until this point.
I mean, look how much more patient right off the bat V1 is in terms of specific locations. Sure, we had the way that Scuba was playing on A main, but the rest of the map is quiet at the same time. Now they drone through and they go for the dash right away again.
I've seen this before. It's just Scuba backside now. He's been darted, he's been spotted, he's been dropped. Zelsis is going to get the ult orb as well. And look at him, man. They're pushing all the way through B main. The defenses from Knights are going to have to come in from spawn, and they're just walking right into the crosshairs of version 1. Ban and Frosty are the only two left in the round. You see Ban's going to try to work his way into market, while Frosty has everything in front of him. The fact that he even got one there is seemingly miraculous, but Ban just kind of left alone. The dash across, the pistol. Good onto Penny.
Getting a little expensive, but
yeah,
it's fine. Matthew's getting the ult orb for the final kill too. Makes everything just good. So 10-4, clean round. Now V1 only needs 3, and there's plenty of round-winning ults on the side of version 1. Like, there's the lockdown. No command I wouldn't necessarily consider like a round-winning ult. Neither the Astral Divide, but both combined can become round-winning down the line. And a lot of opportunities to use them in really creative ways too that can catch you completely off guard. So
see what their approach is in this round. You've got Whippy with the turret, make sure there's no one pushing in B, while the rest of the team is all towards A. You've got Scuba, who's made his way into Wine. The shock dart not going to clean him up, but Effie's will. The wall goes up as well and instantly gets taken out.
He wasn't even aiming, he was just trying to break the wall. And then they do damage onto Ziff too, who already down probably what, 85 HP or so. And they regroup. This is what I love about V1's attack sides. And Xander coming in as the IGL as well. Very, very adaptive. Much, much more like we saw with Vanity on the team. They back up, they regroup, they dart lower mid. So that puts more presence on the map. Knights doesn't necessarily know, but this is a great high-low setup here, Doug.
It is, and they've got 3 people here, right? So they may not know what's coming, but they are prepared potentially to handle it. Oh, but Ban already falls. Look at that, Ziff does as well. The defenses that they had, they just kind of fall apart. Gangsta's the only one that remains, but he takes damage and he gets pushed off. Xander gets the spike down. Second shock dart coming through. You see the 2 remaining members of Knights having to push this in from heaven because you've got Whippy playing tree, making sure nobody goes around, and now he's flanking around. He may get the timing right. Oh, here it is. Yep. Whippy cleans Gangsta up at the end. Version 1 get to 11. This does not look good for the Knights.
And just to highlight once again the effects of having solid map control. Shown perfectly from version 1 right here. The battle here in A main, crucial, because what it does is it forces them into their secondary setup. And usually that's all there is in defensive side setups. It's 2 layers, potentially 3. Clearly there wasn't anything there. And you need that because of the amount of times that you're getting darted, you're getting droned, you're getting pushed off of your initial setups. You need that extra auxiliary, and they went to that high-low setup, something that is easily spotted by 1 dart, and then can get flashed off of angles and stuff like that. Very difficult to hold.
You mentioned that the Null Command and the Cosmic Divide together could be round-winning ultimates. They are both online for version 1. Another slow start here. You mentioned that A main fight. Knife's gonna tag Scuba. Oh, wall goes up Cat. This is interesting from Ziff. We saw this a couple of maps ago on the side of Knights from Ziff in particular, who walled this off, but this is the first time we've seen him do it that I can remember. This is usually a very common wall for them.
Yeah, I mean, the last round they were pressuring A main. He had to use it there. So that's the type of stuff that I actually really like from Knights, is the fact that he can pivot between the different sides. I'm curious really what Knights thinks is happening right now, because they really don't have presence. The good thing is Ziff is shoulder peeking on top of this wall into mid. So with this drone, they know that it's not necessarily a mid push. and the alarm bot's still up as well. So back to the same mold for V1, dash with Penny, and he spots it alone.
And Whippy's the one that cleans him up. You mentioned Frosty, he's still back there. The ult comes online, Penny swings around, and Frosty falls. That was gorgeous. They just like got everything they wanted. They take the site. Gangsta's able to fight back and take care of Whippy. It's still a 4v3 in favor of version 1. They're all anchored on back site here.
There it is.
Cosmic Divide comes through.
Oh, I'm not sure about this one. That's an angle that you could pop in both sides at the same time.
Yep. I just don't know what they have. It's not like they have flashes. They don't have anything to really play off of. They just kind of...
They're saving.
Yeah.
They're saving. I mean, they forced into this round, so, I mean, good decision. They tried to play for not forcing OT. But, unfortunately, they don't end up winning the round. But this save actually gives them a chance in the next one. Otherwise, it would have been just pistols. One little intricacy there I don't think that many people caught was when you saw Penny dash into that switch position, number one, he's pausing for shock darts, for other utility for a second there after he hits the switch in his smoke. But secondly, you had Frosty playing on the stairs position. He actually fake updrafts, bonks his head on the top of the switch roof, and you had Frosty fling his crosshair up while the rest of the team swung on stairs, because that's a very common thing for Jets to updraft and dash over the top of the roof. So really, really nice from V1. These tiny little things make the difference.
And you know, you even think about some of those tiny things that make a difference, not just the updraft, smacking his head on the roof, but also the fact that he cleared logs while dashing onto switch, right? He spotted Ban there, and then Whippy he knew exactly where he was able to take care of him without really any other information from intel. So it's those little things like that that are proving to be so beneficial for V1 that have them up as big as they do here on Knights map pick, and they find themselves at map point. A timeout coming in from Knights, but Bala, I don't know when else it would have happened, because it's just kind of like been a blur of a beating from version 1, but I kind of wonder if it's too late here.
Could be. I mean, I'll tell you what they need to do, right? Obviously, they need to win the next couple of rounds, but most importantly, they need to keep the economy strong enough for Ban to get that op rolling, because that was a key point of their defensive house on ASCENT, was him opping, switching up positions, being able to play with Ziff in mid, sometimes, you know, peeking off the cat, these different things. And they're going fast again, a nice tap. But they trade everybody. It's literally just Ziff left in the site, and they're going to pop flash out. And he's even getting start at the same time. So how long can he hold? Oh,
He saw that. Surely he saw that. I like what we saw from Knights. I saw the aggressive look, but yeah, it's just countered instantly. My goodness. Version 1 seemed to be able to do no wrong. Here is it's a